Hello, and for the 10th time this year, welcome to our live coverage of a TCR Europe race. It is race 2. It is one of the world's most iconic racing circuits that we're at this weekend, because we're at Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. And if you were with us yesterday, you'd have seen an absolutely cracking touring car race. Slightly cooler, something like 4 degrees. It is certainly chilly, very damp, very humid, and it's been the weather really and the associated tyre choice that's been making the headlines over the last day or so. 22 cars entered for this race weekend. All 22 will line up on the grid for this second race, with Matto Homola on pole position alongside Pepe Oriola. So Hyundai from Honda. Row 2 will be Mike Halder and Manu Sapag, with Sami Taufik and Dan Lloyd behind him. Then it's Andreas Beckman and John Filippi, Tom Coronel and Mehdi Binani. That was our front row from yesterday's race 1, but it was Mikael Azcona, who started from P13 on the grid yesterday, who took a sensational race victory. And as we were surmising, guessing, assuming yesterday, it was all down to the tyres. And it was a combination of slicks on the front and wets on the back, which gave... And thank you to our cameraman for giving us a look at our pole position man, Matto Homola, who's gone with wets all round. But if you saw the moment yesterday where Azcona went past Tom Coronel, who'd been leading for much of the race, a lap and a half or so from the end of the race, and you can also see the raindrops on the camera lens suggesting that once again the weather is going to be an issue here. Free practice 1 was dry. Free practice 2 was wet, and race 1 yesterday in damp conditions, so not one thing nor the other really. But Mike Halder finished on the podium yesterday. A delighted Mike Halder finished on the podium to extend his lead in the Drivers' Series. Mike Halder now leads Mehdi Binani by 15 points. Mike Halder on 231, Mehdi Binani on 216. Dan Lloyd is another 22 points behind on 194. Equal fourth, Nicolas Bart and John Filippi. There is Manu Sapag, who made his debut in the 2020 TCR Europe Series last time out a fortnight ago in Barcelona. And his contribution, together with John Filippi and Andreas Beckman, elevating target competition to third in the Teams Championship. Come to you. And there is Sami Taufik, part of the 3 Audis that make up the Come To You team. Come To You leading the championship at the moment from Brutal Fish. Target, as I mentioned, up to third, ahead of Proficar Halder now, and then BRC Racing dropping down to 5th. But Sami Taufik having a bit of a nightmare day yesterday, unable to take part in free practice 2 because of a broken engine mount, an engine change dropping him back to the grid. No such issues for race 2 though. And Dan Lloyd, another nightmare weekend for him a fortnight ago in Barcelona. And what can he do? Can he do anything about Mike Halder's points lead in the Drivers' Series as we head to the final round in Jarama in Spain in 2 weeks' time? Andreas Beckman, like Dan Lloyd and Mike Halder, a race winner in this year's TCR Europe Series. Andreas winning race 2 a fortnight ago in Barcelona, and Mike Halder having won 2 races, the only driver so far this year to have picked up more than 1 race victory. But what can Mikael Azcona do today from P13? He was hoping for a dry race. Well, he's not got that, and from what we could see from our grid camera, most drivers electing to go for full wets today. The race already declared wet, so headlights will be on. The message doesn't seem to have got through to our pole sitter. But 20 seconds or so away from our green flag lap, and we'll run through. There we are. Marshall telling Matto Homola, lights on please. And I'm looking to the clouds. It's a grey, overcast day here in the Ardennes. And we've certainly seen some very wet races in other of the series racing here at Spa this weekend. We are, of course, part of the 24-hour of Spa programme, that race gets underway this afternoon, and hence the reason why our two races on Friday and Saturday this weekend rather than Saturday and Sunday. Let's run through the grid then for you. On row 1, Mato Homola and Pepe Oriola. Row 2 is Mike Halder and Manu Sapag. Row 3 is Sammy Tofik, Come To You Racing, and Dan Lloyd for Brutal Fish in the Honda. Row 4 is Andreas Beckman and John Filippi, teammates, although as we've seen in the past that doesn't seem to count for much these days. Tom Coronel and Mehdi Benani, Boutsen Gignon and Come To You Racing at row 5. Row 6, Danny Nage in the BRC Racing Hyundai alongside Jessica Beckman in another Hyundai, that of Target. Then it's Mikel Azcona, winner of race 1 yesterday. Alongside Mikel on the grid will be Teddy Claret in the Team Claret Sport Peugeot. Nicolas Baldan in the brand new Seat Leon Competition. Former TCR Italy champion alongside Nicolas Bart. Julien Brichet and Jimmy Claret in the two Peugeots, row 9. Row 10 is Martin Rieber and Michel Halder. And then right at the back of the grid, Evgeny Leonov in the Volcano Motorsport Cupra, one of 3 Cupras on the grid. And right at the back of the grid, Stefan Vontager leading the Yokohama Trophy Diamond class for drivers over 40. As I say, all 22 cars entered for this weekend out on the grid for this second race. And raindrops also on the lenses of some of the track cameras. So what will we see over the next half an hour or so? 2 incidents that you may have seen if you were with us yesterday for race 1. The incident on lap 1 with Nicolas Bart making contact with Jessica Beckman, bringing out the safety car, and Bart quick to hold up his hands. He had slicks on the front, worn wets on the rear, and just the car, he said, was just very, very slippery, and he jinked across the track, took out Jessica, who was the innocent bystander in all of it, and hence the reason why Nicolas Bart has a 3-place grid penalty for today's race. The other incident on the final lap, coming down out of Bruxelles, down towards the double gauche, the 2 left-handers, about halfway through this lap, with Manu Sapag and Teddy Claret making contact, and that was deemed to have been a racing incident. No further action taken by the stewards. And there, briefly, you saw Tom Coronel. Mehdi Benani started from pole yesterday, and again, tyre choice penalising the Moroccan driver. But Benani, twice this season starting from pole, still to win his first race in TCR Europe 2020. And Mehdi and Tom will be starting from the 5th row of the grid. Tom Coronel yesterday unlucky to take his maiden victory in TCR Europe. And there, the gold Cupra of the Volcano Motorsport team and Mikel Azcona, 2018 TCR Europe champion, having moved up to WTCR, but with no clash this weekend. Mikel electing to make an appearance in the TCR Europe series, and a very successful appearance it was, going from P13 to P1 with that brilliant move, gutsy move, if you'd seen it yesterday, flinging the car into the corner after getting past Tom Coronel. But everyone commenting, I think, on social media last night how clean, how fair, how professional the overtaking moves were yesterday. And Coronel also quick to praise Mikel last night for that move. So then, 22 cars line up on the grid. We're waiting for the green flag, and we are moments away from round 10 of the 2020 TCR Europe Series. The lights on very quickly. A long start period, and we are away. We are racing and also weaving quickly across the track as Mike Halder moves up alongside Mato Homola for the right-hand hairpin at La Source for the first time. Dan Lloyd, it would appear, made a decent start from middle of the pack, but it is Lloyd's teammate Pepe Oriola who leads as they go down the hill towards Eau Rouge and rounding on for the first time. 8 laps scheduled for this second race. We can... Oh, there's contact halfway through the pack going up Radillon, and it is Jessica Beckman. No, Andreas Beckman, excuse me, in the target competition Hyundai in the wars going up Radillon, as we saw Martin Rieber already in the wars, but it is one of the Brutal Fish Hondas that leads in the hands of Pepe Oriola. Mike Halder having moved up. Mato Homola is the man that loses out, going from pole. Dropping back to third place. And behind Homola, it is Sami Tofik in the 25 Audi. Then it's Dan Lloyd. Then a slight gap back. Coronel from Sapak. There is Mehdi Benani. Apologies, behind Coronel is Filippi. As Dan Lloyd just takes a little look up the inside of Tofik. No sign of yellow flags or anything similar while the cars are recovered from those earlier incidents. But Homola dropping back into the clutches of Tofik as the two Hondas ahead are away up the road. It is Pepe Oriola who leads Mike Halder. Third still Mato Homola. Fourth is Sami Tofik. Fifth is Dan Lloyd. And behind those five, Manu Sapag, Tom Coronel, then John Filippi, then Athkana, already up 4 places on this opening lap from P13 to P9. Could Athkana do the double here in Spa? Mehdi Benani, 10th, as they come through the bus stop for the first time, up the start-finish straight to take the timing beam. So it is Pepe Oriola who leads Mato Homola, who leads Mike Halder, excuse me, by a little over 1.1 seconds. Tofik just looked at the inside of Mato Homola. Not close enough though. So there is Halder in second, Homola in third. Tofik now has, and I'm trying to work out, no, it's a manual flashing of the lights. I did wonder if Sapag had activated the speed limiter, which flashes the lights on the Hyundai, but it seems not. So Oriola then leading for Honda. Mike Halder second, Honda. Tofik going straight on, and what on earth happened there going down the Kemmel straight? That slight right-hander at Kemmel itself. Hopefully we can see a replay. He seemed to be an absolute passenger. He has though rejoined, so no lasting damage. Homola running wide as Dan Lloyd just looks up the inside of Sapag. You can almost sense the frustration with Dan Lloyd. That's the scrap for third, fourth and fifth. Homola still currently in third, then it's Sapag, then Lloyd, then Coronel. And Athkana having moved up another place. Mikael Athkana already up in 8th place with the man he beat to take the victory yesterday, Tom Coronel, just ahead of him. Oriola pulling away from Mike Halder. Some very wide lines from Mato Homola in third. And Sapag dives up the inside. Sapag side by side with Homola, but he has the line for the left-hander. Oh, squirreling on a damp track. Sapag loses out. He'd momentarily taken the place, but Homola dives past again to regain third position. And this time it looks like Dan Lloyd just making contact with Sapag as they go up the start-finish line. Sapag powers past Homola. Dan Lloyd too up alongside Homola. The leaders go through La Source. Sapag in third. Lloyd forced slightly wide by Homola, but has taken the position. So all changed then. Homola drops from third down to about seventh, because Mikel Azcona has also moved up a position, moved up 3 positions in fact. He's got past Coronel as we were looking at the scrap for third. So Azcona from 13th on the grid. Oh, and there is Michel Halder, who started towards the back of the grid from the last but one row out of the race. As we pause for breath, Pepe Oriola just a second now, so the lead has come down. The gap between first and second, Oriola from Mike Halder. Manu Sapag having moved up into third. There he is, Dan Lloyd right behind, and Azcona behind the pair. So that scrap for third between Sapag, Lloyd and Azcona will continue. Lloyd, I guess, will be furious because he's got championship points to worry about. There goes our race leader, and Azcona all over the place, running wide across the curbs and breaking contact with Dan Lloyd, who in turn moves up alongside Sapag. The gap's all coming down though. The scrap between second, third and fourth looks to be warming up. So there is Oriola, still our race leader, then Mike Halder, then Sapag, Lloyd, Azcona. Behind Azcona, Filippi. Oh, and contact between Lloyd and the Hyundai. No! Both of them go off. That surely is going to bring out the safety car from that position. But we'll need to look at that again. There was contact between the pair, and once they got off the line, it was only going to end one way. There is the stranded Profi car Honda of Michel Halder as the field streams through the bus stop. Yellow flags are out at turn 18, and indeed a safety car is coming out. So Pepe Oriola will have been told. So the gap just under a second between Pepe Oriola and Mike Halder. Azcona sensationally up into third ahead of John Filippi. Coronel is now fifth ahead of Benani, Claire, Teddy, Mato Homola, Danny Nage and Jimmy Claire. That's your top 10. But Lloyd and Sapag, their races have ended in the wall. So the safety car once again brought into play in this TCR Europe meeting at Spa-Francorchamps. Originally an 8-lap race, we can add a maximum of 2 safety car laps to that race distance. As we look again at the start, and looking down towards La Source, and Oriola having made an absolutely storming start to lead going into La Source, and that was the moment that Martin Rieber lost it, with the rear into the wall coming out of the hairpin. And that was the moment that Nage and Andreas Beckmann made contact coming up the hill at Radeon. And look at this, right on the ragged edge. That was the moment that Sapag handed the position back to Mato Homola. And that, we didn't see earlier, is the end of Michel Halder's race. Now, do we have... Yes, this is it. This is Sapag and Lloyd. Contact once, contact twice, contact 3 times. And I wonder if the contact has broken steering on Dan Lloyd's car, because it seemed that he pushed Sapag off, and it did appear from that shot at least to look like Lloyd didn't have any ability to steer the Honda, and it was unsurprisingly, I'm already seeing that the incident is under investigation between Sapag and Lloyd. Now, yesterday the marshals worked wonders to get the incident on lap 1 between Nicolas Bart and Jessica Beckman cleared. Fingers crossed they can do the same today, and we'll be racing once again here at Spa. So if you're just joining us, Pepe Oriola, who took the lead right at the start of the race, coming off the start line. But this is the incident that's caused the safety car. Dan Lloyd, while scrapping with Manu Sapag for third. Now look at this in slow-mo. Do you see what I mean? Lloyd's front wheels locked up, so whether it's damage to steering, whether it's just that he got onto a greasy part of the track, we'll find out when we get back to the paddock later on. But whatever the cause, the end result is that both Dan Lloyd and Manu Sapag will play no further part in this race. And that will be a bitter, bitter blow to Dan Lloyd, and particularly his championship hopes, whereas Mike Halder will be, I suspect, more than happy to claim yet another podium position, currently second behind Pepe Oriola. But it is the man in third place that could pull off an absolutely stunning result in this second race, having gone from P13 to win race 1 yesterday. Mikel Azcona on course to do it again in race 2. And that once again is Martin Rieber, so his second excursion. We saw a moment ago him going off at La Source. So then, 18 cars still running. Stefan Vantage bringing up the rear of the field with Sapag, Lloyd, Michel Halder and Martin Rieber. All casualties of this second race at Spa-Francorchamps. Safety car lights still on as they come down the Kemmel straight towards Les Combes, through Malmedy, and then we drop down the hill towards the right-hand hairpin at Bruxelles. Time to just pause for breath and just recap what's happening in the points positions. Oriola then leads from Halder. Azcona third, ahead of John Filippi, Tom Coronel, Mehdi Benani, Teddy Claret, Mato Homola, Danny Nage and Jimmy Claret, and outside the top 10, Nicolas Bart, Julien Brichet, Nicolas Baldan in the Leon Competition, Evgeny Leonov in the old Cupra Leon, and Andreas Beckman 15th, and in the last of the points positions, Jessica Beckman 16th. Disappointment for the Beckman siblings here at Spa. Then it's Sami Taufik, Stefan Vantage, still running in 18th place, as I was saying, with 4 DNF cars potentially. Sapag, Lloyd, Michel Halder and Martin Rieber. And Michel Halder's car being recovered, although obviously that was not the car that was causing the potential problem. Safety lights still on, so race distance has increased to 10 laps. So we're halfway through this second race of TCR Europe at Spa. Pepe Oriola currently leads after winning the second race in Monza 4 weeks ago. Can Pepe Oriola claim his second win of the year? Can Mike Halder take his third? Or potentially, can Mikel Azcona take his second win of the weekend? And comments on social media last night saying yesterday's race was probably one of the best in the championship so far this year. Not quite sure that this race is going to go the same way. Marshall's still working away in the background to recover those two cars. It's all a little bit scrappy, this one, isn't it? So the safety car heads down through Blanchimont towards the bus stop. So one more lap at the very least behind the safety car. As potentially we'll remind ourselves of some of the incidents so far in this race. And that first couple of hundred meters of the race is what did it for Pepe Oriola. Starting from P2 on the grid, getting past Mateo Homola. That contact between Martin Rieber and Michel Halder coming through La Source. And then this contact also on lap 1 between the two Hyundais of Danny Nage and Andreas Beckmann, and Andreas lucky to not be collected coming up through Radeon. And then this once again is the reason for the safety car. Several contacts between the Honda and the Hyundai. Dan Lloyd and Manu Sapag, with the pair of them crashing heavily into the tyre barrier. I think that's at Stavolo, the long right-hander out of Campus. Still seeing no message on the timing screen about the safety car possibly coming in this lap. Cars though cleared, so fingers crossed we will be racing again very shortly. And it'll be down to Pepe Oriola to manage this restart. Watch that gold Cupra. He's already made up 10 places, has Mikel Azcona, showing the kind of talent that gave him the TCR Europe title 2 years ago. That is serving him well in the WTCR. And I went to have a chat with him after the race yesterday, and absolutely beaming, saying how much he enjoyed it. He'd gone with the right tyre choice, spent the first lap or two getting heat into the front tyres, and then steadily carved his way through the field with that brilliant passing move on Tom Coronel to take the lead. Aggressive, but fair, clean, no contact between the pair. And the incident involving Michel Halder is also under investigation, we're being told. We didn't see the incident itself, but we saw the aftermath of Michel heading across the grass towards the bus stop coming out of Blanchimont. And indeed, safety car lights go off. Nothing on my timing screen, but we'll take that as a given. So we will be racing again very shortly. The Audi R8 safety car heads off to its standby position, and Pepe Oriola knows that it's now all down to him. So then, Oriola from Halder, from Azcona, from Filippi, Coronel, Benani, Homola, Teddy Claret, Danny Nage and Jimmy Claret. That's your top 10. And the next time Pepe Oriola crosses the start line, we will be on lap 7 of 10. This revised race distance, 2 laps added because of the safety car. And Mike Halder will be watching intently as Pepe Oriola goes for it. Hammer down, green flag, and we are racing once again here at Spa. Pepe Oriola, the gap officially half a second just over between Pepe and Mike Halder. But Mikel Azcona, what can he do right up behind Halder? Halder, I suspect, will be more than happy to let the Cupra go, because he knows that all his, and indeed that's exactly what he's done. Coming out of La Source, coming down the hill towards Eau Rouge, Mike Halder sensibly letting Mikel Azcona take second place, and now it's the battle of the Spaniards. Pepe Oriola leading from Mikel Azcona, from Mike Halder in third, John Filippi fourth, Tom Coronel then in the distinctive DHL coloured Honda Civic, the Boots and Gignon team's Honda. Behind Coronel is Benani, then Homola, who started from pole, then Claret, then Danny Nage, then Jimmy. And also, we've seen the lead change hands. It was only a matter of time before Mikel Azcona powered past Pepe Oriola, who also sensibly let his younger compatriot through as Mike Halder now goes for Pepe Oriola. And up the outside goes John Filippi, squirreling over those damp curbs. Treacherous it must be, but the move paid off. And so John Filippi has powered his way past Pepe Oriola to move into second place behind Mikel Azcona. Azcona already up the road. Filippi now second, Oriola third. Then Coronel fourth. Then Mike Halder, so all change for our championship leader. And Halder, having moved past Pepe Oriola, the pair giving each other room. But that's a scrap that will go on for the remainder of this race, I suspect. And Teddy Claret just takes a look up the inside of Mehdi Benani. Benani has the line, though, for the left-hander. But indeed, Claret powers past, so that's the scrap for 6th and 7th going on. And just behind Benani is the blue-striped Peugeot of Jimmy Claret, with Danny Nage just up the outside of the Peugeot as they come through the bus stop. So, big changes then on that first lap after the safety car went in. Mikel Azcona now leads from John Filippi. The gap 2.5 seconds between first and second. Then it's Tom Coronel having moved up to third. Mike Halder down to fourth ahead of Pepe Oriola. Then Teddy Claret. We saw that move. There he is. Now powering down the hill past Mike Halder. So, Teddy Claret moving up potentially 2 places as Jimmy very loose coming through Eau Rouge, going up the hill at Raidillon. So Teddy then now past Mike Halder for fourth. There is our race leader. There is Filippi. Coronel right behind the Hyundai. Then it's Teddy Claret and Coronel behind him, with Mike Halder having dropped a position. What was I saying about this race not quite being to the same standard as yesterday? We're seeing another cracking race, but for different reasons. It's all change at the top of the leaderboard. Azcona then from Filippi, from Coronel. Another change coming up. That 4-way cluster, 5, 6, 7-way cluster almost of cars. There is Mike Halder. Benani up the inside of Pepe Oriola. Behind is the 99 Hyundai of Danny Nage, the blue Peugeot of Jimmy Claret. Julien Brichet is there as well on the right-hand side of your screen, and that was Nicolas Baldan, I think. Yes, in the Leon Competition, running wide. And as I was saying yesterday, track limits here at Spa. Oh, and contact involving the 2 Peugeots, Jimmy Claret and Julien Brichet, bumping into each other. Damage, quite heavy damage to the front left of Brichet's car. More headaches for the Frenchman, who we really thought would be in contention for the title this year, but has had an absolute nightmare of a season. The scrap then for second place, with Azcona headed up the road. It's Filippi holding off Tom Coronel. Are we going to see a repeat of yesterday's 1-2? If Coronel can get past and he goes up the inside. Filippi, though, recovers as they head down to La Source for the penultimate time. We're on lap 9 of 10 here in Spa. Mikel Azcona leads, now over 4 seconds, believe it or not, ahead of this scrap for second. In fourth is Teddy Claret. Then it's this battle going on. Danny Nage having recovered well in the second half of this race, alongside Nicolas Bart as they go through La Source. Then Mike Halder, then Benani, then Nicolas Baldan in the Cupra. brilliant camera shot, just looking up the hill towards La Source and then up the other side up towards Radillon as Coronel tries to go round the outside of John Philippi. That's the chicane at Les Combes. We saw Julien Brichet cut that corner yesterday and immediately have to give the position back to Dan Lloyd. There's the brow of the hill as they head from Malmedy down to Bruxelles. The elevation changes here at Spa are extremely pronounced on this second half of the lap. Down the hill now from Bruxelles towards Double Gauche. And this looks set to be a fascinating scrap over the last lap and a half. John Philippi, having moved up to equal fourth in the Drivers' Championship before this second race at Spa, currently holding on to second place from Tom Coronel, but running very, very wide. Track limits being enforced if all four wheels go off those green strips. And so he may be running wide, but he's not attracting the attention of the race director so far. Philippi holding Tom Coronel at bay at the moment. And no surprise, Julien Brichet in the pits. You could see the damage there after the contact with Claret. And the gap's opening up. Mikel Azcona, 5 seconds, more than 5 seconds now, clear of this scrap for second. You can see John Philippi right on the ragged edge, holding Tom Coronel at bay. Through the right-hander at Blanchimont, through the bus stop. They have to do this one more time. The race leader, there he is on the final lap. Mikel Azcona leading John Philippi and Tom Coronel. The pair scrapping for second place. And Mike Halder is slowing. Andreas Beckman coming past him. And Beckman will have the line for La Source. So, tyres potentially. Mike Halder saying yesterday that he was happy with his choice to go on full wets. Maybe that's not the position today. Down the Kemmel Straight for the final time. John Philippi still holding off Tom Coronel. Briefly you saw our race leader. 5.8 seconds now. Mikel Azcona clear of John Philippi. Tom Coronel still third. Teddy Claret fourth. And then more changes behind. Nicolas Bart is now up to fifth ahead of Danny Nage. Nicolas Baldan is seventh, having passed Mike Halder you saw a moment or so ago. Then Andreas Beckman. Mehdi Benani has dropped to 10th. Leonov is up to 11th ahead of Pepe Oriola. And Coronel goes past. Through Double Gauche. Tom Coronel has done it. That pressure finally paid off. Tom Coronel in the Boutsen Gignon Honda Civic has finally got past John Philippi. And so it would appear that we're on course for a repeat of yesterday's 1-2. There is our race leader, Mikel Azcona. And if Coronel was out for revenge, he's almost certainly left it too late. Very neat and tidy on this final lap is Mikel Azcona. And the guys from Volcano, and indeed the guys in Spain, will be delighted with this double victory for the Cupra. As Mike Halder drops another place as Evgeny Leonov runs very, very wide. And that's at the bottom end of the top 10. Leonov up to 9th now, ahead of Mike Halder. But there's only the chicane at the bus stop to go, and Mikel Azcona will take the checkered flag for the second time in less than 24 hours to take the race victory ahead of Tom Coronel. John Philippi will come home in third place, and making it 4 brands in the top 4 places. This is the scrap between Andreas Beckman in the number 19 Hyundai and the number 18 Cupra Competition of Nicolas Baldan. And that is the scrap for 7th. Oriola and Homola, well, there'll be tales to tell in the paddock when we finally get down there after this race. The paddock here at Spa, a long, long way from the media centre, from the commentary box, and indeed from the 24 hours paddock. There is Taufik having salvaged, I think that's the right word, 14th place after that disappointment yesterday of the broken engine mount. Let's just run through the results. We'll get confirmation in a moment, but Mikel Azcona, there he is, has taken the win from Tom Coronel in a repeat of yesterday's result. John Filippi is 3rd, Teddy Claret is 4th, Nicolas Bart 5th, then it's Danny Nage, Andreas Beckmann, Nicola Baldan, Evgeny Leonov, Mike Halder, 10th place. Then it's Mehdi Benani, Pepe Oriola, Mato Homola, Sami Taufik and Jessica Beckmann claiming the last of the point-scoring positions. Stefan Bontage is the sole remaining finisher in 16th place, with Julien Brichet, Jimmy Claret, Manu Sapag, Dan Lloyd, Michel Halder and Martin Rieber, the non-finishers. Congratulations again for Mikel from the team. Strange that Jaime Puig isn't here from Cupra Racing this weekend to see Mikel take the win, but he'll be watching, I'm sure. Azcona then, the winning margin in the end, nearly 4.3 seconds from Coronel. Filippi 3rd, Teddy Claret 4th, Nicolas Bart 5th, then Nage, Andreas Beckmann, Nicola Baldan, Evgeny Leonov, his best result of the year, then Mike Halder, Mehdi Benani, Pepe Oriola, Mato Homola, Sami Taufik and Jessica Beckmann. Those are the 15 that take the points, with Stefan Bontage finishing outside the points in 16th, and then our DNFs, Brichet, Jimmy Claret, Manu Sapag, Dan Lloyd, Michel Halder and Martin Rieber. So, quite an interesting second half of the race after the safety car. Let's talk to our race winner, Mikel Azcona.
Master of Spa, Mikel Azcona, what a huge effort you have made. Double victory here in this legendary place.
Yes, thank you very much. I mean, the best feeling I can take from this weekend. 2 victories starting from the back of the grid, P13. So it's the best feeling. I mean, double victory. Thank you for my team to give me the best decision about the tires. I think we took the best decision again today with the mixed tires, the slicks in front and wet on the rear. At the end was much faster, so you could see. But the rest drivers, they had the same tires, so yes, super happy. Big gap between the second car. I mean, it's the best feeling I can have. Thank you for the team and the best preparation for the next weekend in Motorland WTCR.
Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Ah yes, WTCR, which is what will occupy Mikel's thoughts from tomorrow onwards, I suspect, but tonight he'll hopefully allow himself a little celebration for taking 2 wins, 80 points from the 80 available for the 2 races here in Spa. And as Annette was saying, this legendary place, Spa-Francorchamps, the longest circuit on the TCR Europe calendar this year, and that's a very special shot as we remind ourselves of some of the highlights of this second race from TCR Europe here in Spa. while the highlights were on, I was trying to do my sums. Mike Halder still leads the series. In fact, he has extended his advantage over Mehdi Benani, but Lloyd gets no points from race 2 in Spa, with Bart and Filippi possibly the two men who gained the most and have tightened up on the gaps to the drivers ahead of them. So another useful haul of trophies for Tom Coronel, not only picking up the trophy for second place overall, but also picking up the TCR Benelux trophy as the highest placed finisher in that series, and immediately out with the phone to get the selfie for his social media. And our race winner, Mikel Azcona, getting into Tom's selfie. A representative of the winning team, Volcano Motorsports. Nicolas Bart picking up the trophy for the Yokohama Trophy rookie. And the national anthem of our winning driver. And so for the second time this weekend, the Spanish national anthem rings out across Spa-Francorchamps to commemorate the race victory of Mikel Azcona. It's the third time this season that we've heard the Spanish national anthem after Pepe Oriola's victory in Monza. Tom still taking his selfies. I didn't get time to mention Stefan Vontage. There he is on the right of your screen, picking up the maximum points once again for the Yokohama Trophies Diamond class. Okay, I'm delighted that we've had two such good races here in Spa-Francorchamps, the penultimate race weekend of the TCR Europe season. We do it all again in a fortnight's time when the championship, the drivers and the teams' titles will be decided at Jarama in Spain. Fingers crossed we'll have the pleasure of your company then. Goodbye.